My presentation is on the effects of foster care. It's a hard knock life for children who feel like no one cares about them when they are in the foster care system. I remember sitting in my living room as a child watching the hit movie Annie, singing along to It's a Hard Knock Life, a story about a young, curly, red haired girl who was trying to make her way through the foster care system. When I was younger, I was one that thought it was just a fictional story. However, it is not just a fictional story. It is a real representation of children's lives today in the foster care system. At this moment, there are thousands of children spending time with their families. However, at this same exact moment, there are just as many children living in the foster care system. According to the Virginia Foster Care and Adoption Guidelines, in the state of Virginia alone, there are roughly 5,000 children living in foster care. These children are not having quality time with their families. The maltreatment that they have experienced at home, along with the shock and confusion of getting placed in foster care, leaves these children feeling lost and hopeless. According to the American Society for the Positive Care of Children, 491,710 victims are neglected. 115,100 victims are physically abused. 60,927 victims are sexually abused. 39,924 victims are psychologically maltreated. These statistics would lead one to believe that the foster care system is great. However, the foster care system does not provide the adequate support to fully benefit the child. There are cases of similar abuse in foster homes. These abuses lead to low academic achievement, anxiety, and low expectation for future achievement. So, what is foster care? According to the Child Welfare Information Gateway, the foster care system is a temporary service provided by states for children who cannot live with their families. There are many reasons for a child to be taken from their home. Abuse, neglect, and living in an unsafe environment are just a few. According to the CDC, neglect is the most prevalent. There are many ways a child can be placed when in foster care. They can include a group home, a private home, or with another family member known as kinship care. There is more and more research on the negative effects rather than the positive effects of foster care. Those who are in the system are unintentionally damaged, which is why many of them will need additional services when it's time to overcome the trauma. Most children are entering the foster care at the time that their brain growth and development are super active. Research shows that during the first 3 to 4 years of a child's life, the brain structures that are linked to personal traits, learning processes, and coping with stress and emotions are established, strengthened, and become permanent. During these early times in a child's life, they can be influenced by negative environment conditions, child abuse, violence in the family. According to the National Conference of State Legislators, these situations are known to impair brain development in the early years of a child's life. Megan McCann, the author of Mental Health in Foster Care, said up to 80% of children in foster care have significant mental health issues, compared to approximately 18 to 22% of the general population. It can be inferred that the foster care agencies are failing to meet the needs of these children. Before entering foster care, there are assessments that need to be completed. According to the Virginia Department of Social Services, these assessments include developmental, educational, life skill, and behavioral health. The Child Welfare League of America, as well as the American Academy of Pediatrics, have created guidelines to these assessments, which just shows how important they are. These assessments are completed to get a prior history of the child and family in order to provide the best care. Obviously, the more a caregiver knows about the child, the better care and help they will be able to provide the child to help them thrive. The life of a child in foster care is much different than that of a life of a child who is not in the system. For the children that are placed into foster care, all they see is their parents not taking care of them and getting taken away from their home. They will not have the memories of family. Instead, they will have the memories of getting placed into many different homes. According to Leanna Smith, the author of Ending the Cycle of Foster Care Moves, said it is common for children who grow up in foster care to move more than 15 times. Granted, these foster parents love and care for children that come into their home, and they show children stability and teach them the life lessons that will last them a lifetime and they will be able to thrive. However, it is hard for children to accept the new parents after having so many in and out of their lives. For many teenagers, their 18th birthday is an exciting time for their lives. They are finally becoming a legal adult and are free from the rules and restrictions created under their parents. For the hundreds of thousands of children living in foster care in the United States, this newfound freedom brings anxiety and fear. Where will they live after turning 18? How will they get the medications that they are needed? How will they find a job with little to no experiences? Aging out of the foster care system is a serious issue among America's youth. Each year, more than 20,000 children across the U.S. turn 18 and age out of the foster care system. Out of the 20,000, less than half of them have graduated high school or have earned a GED. Only 1.8% of the 10,000 that have graduated high school will further their education, compared to the general population, which is 24%. Along with higher percentages engaging in substance abuse, young adults leaving care are twice as likely to participate in dangerous sexual behaviors compared to other 18-year-olds. With no parental guidance or even being provided with knowledge of the risk of sex, many young lives are forever altered due to the poor choices that they have made. It is unfortunate that the teens who are getting pregnant or causing pregnancies are the ones with a lack of income to take care of their new child. People believe that the foster care system is doing a service to society. Those families offering foster care for children are involved and allows them to feel good with the difference that they are making to the lives of those children. Those families who are in foster care, depending on the state, are able to get financial help. So there will never be a solution to foster care. It is something that is not going anywhere and will always be needed. However, attempting to fix these problems can help. And in order to do that, the problem needs to be defined and then evaluated. The classroom is a safe place for many students who are experiencing trauma at home. This means that the teacher will play a big role in these children's lives. According to the Nation Center brief, the authors list appropriate responsibilities of a teacher when caring for a foster child. The list includes having monthly meetings with the child's foster parents, caseworkers, and principal to catch each other up on how the child is doing and how they can better plan on the child's educational future. One of the ways teachers can better aid children in the foster care system is by looking at these educational assessments prior to being in foster care. The teacher also needs to be in communication with the foster family or the social worker to have access to these assessments. ACEs are events that happen to a child that can be traumatic. An example would be abuse, violence, or even substance abuse. These experiences can be buffered by having a steady relationship with the teacher. With a better understanding of the child's needs, educators, foster care families, caseworkers, and doctors can unite to create an optimal environment that cultivates healthy relationships and learning.